adjust on the fly for it.
I'd say the moon ones are so much harder because you're like the S rank those or A rank them. You like need to be
I think it depends. Some of them
you
are
need to
real
have
easy,
the
some of them are real
Western,
hard. Yeah, some
especially
are real
yeah
easy in my experience. Like my favorite ones are the ones that need like very little of the top bar and only all the bottom bar, or vice
yeah
versa.
those ones are nice.
Those ones are my favorite.
But have you seen like the sequential
I wanted
ones?
to go over one thing too first.
It's
I
absolutely nutty.
have. Those are terrible. Okay, so one thing I wanted to mention, because I know we saw it when we were in there before, but I wanna move C. Okay, so if these are our 5 platforms, the one thing I want to mention, just so everybody is on the same page. So once we are done with that tether mechanic, so this is in relation to that last mechanic. So obviously you have all these people, you know, in your set spot. So there'll be like a DPS here, there'll be some combo of a DPS tank on one of these two, a DPS is up here, there'll be a tank here, healers and the DPS are down here. The one thing I want to point out, because I noticed it caused us a little bit of confusion. So what I want here is Jin's kind of where he needs to be. So if both the tanks end up here, when we do ultraviolet, both the tanks are going to end up on this spot right here. And the way they're going to do that is one tank is going to be close to this side, one's going to be close to the other side. I don't know how you guys are planning on doing that, but it's going to be a 1 and a 1, and then 2 DPS are going to be here as well. And that is going to be all the people, basically if you started on one of these 3 platforms during the tethers, if you were here during the tethers, you need to come to this platform. If you were on any of these 3, this is where you need to go for ultraviolet, is right here. If you were on the south one with the healers, or you were on this one, you need to come south. The healers will be going on the sides, the DPS will be in the middle. So I wanted to make that point clear, and then the way this mechanic will work, if we get there perfectly, what would cause a DPS to go C? A DPS would never go to C, a tank will always be on C. Yeah, a tank will always be on C, the DPS will always be on these 4. But there will always be a tank here. So that's what I was saying, I'm including this one because the tanks always have to come up to A. Yep. But so, if you are on any of these 3, just note that after you dodge Hero Blow, once you have dodged Hero Blow, look at the mini-map quick and see where you are and see where you have to go to get there. If that answer is, I need to rotate counterclockwise once, or clockwise, whatever the answer may be to get you to that spot, just make note of it so that you know how you're moving. And same deal if you were trying to get to here, make sure you know how you're getting there. Because it is important that you get where you need to get to after Hero Blow resolves decently quickly. You have a little bit of time, but the faster you can get where you need to get, the easier it is to see the lineup when it happens. Once that lineup has happened, there is no marker on any platform now. But so that's why I said use the minimap. You'd be able to see it on the minimap pretty easily. The other thing is, generally speaking, the boss will always be facing the tank. So, or he should turn. So like as long as if you have to be there, if you're next to the tanks, you should be in the right spot. Or obviously if you need to be with the healers, we're south the entire time, with the exception of dodging Hero Blow. He should turn for a second to auto, but yeah, basically just find the tanks effectively. If you need to be with the tanks, find the tanks. If you need to be with the healers, find the healers. And then the way we resolve that is pretty simple. If you are the eastmost person on your tile, which should always be, if the supports are marked, it will always be the supports. If it's the DPS marked in one of the supports, then, you know, it's a wild card. But the eastmost person in your lineup will always be jumping to these 2 platforms. So the south person will be jumping towards D, the eastmost person here will be jumping here, and that'll leave basically 3 other people marked. One platform will have 2, one platform will have 1. If you only have 1, same as the other times, stay still. If you have 2, the westmost person needs to jump to the 1 open platform, which would be the platform in between the 2 groups. So I just wanted to make that point clarified. The only other thing I want to mention that is worth noting, because I noticed we had a little bit of confusion. Dodging Hero's Blow. The only thing you need to understand about dodging that mechanic, there's two mindsets you can take to this mechanic, and it all depends on if you want to jump or not every time. There is always a movement from whatever platform you are on. There is always going to be a direction you can move off that platform to get either behind the boss or in front of him. No matter where you are, you will either already be in front or behind him if he looks at you or looks opposite of you. Or there will be a jump that can get you to the front or the back. If you want to ignore the cleave until you're in front or back of him, you could do that. As soon as you see him spin, just watch his arrows. As soon as you see him spin, jump however you have to get in front or behind him. And then look at him, see the sword, and dodge it. If you want to be fancy with it, you could look at his side arrow. If the side arrow's next to you, look to see if the sword's hitting where you're standing, and then just don't leave. And then just dodge the in out, staying on your platform. But if you have to leave your platform for whatever reason, your movement always has to be in a direction that will put you either in front of the boss or behind him. In no circumstance should you be trying to go to the further of the two. So, like, if you use the example we had in our poll last time, the boss was facing A. Yeah, exactly. He might be swinging the other side, and then you don't have to worry about it. But yes, there's always going to be a single move. So, when you were sitting... Oh. If A is... Okay, yep. Yeah, so effectively, you always want to get to that spot. So what I was saying was, like in our last example, the last time we got there, I know, Belle, you were sitting southwest, and the safe spots were effectively northwest, and they were southeast. So your jump would have been to the or your jump to get you to a safe spot would have been jumping to the your safe spot would have been jumping you to northwest, and like in that case, you would jump to northwest. Dante and whoever his partner were that were on that platform, I think it was Macy, could stay there. Leon was on the safe side already, so he could have just stayed on his platform, or he could have jumped to northwest if he wanted to. Either one would work. The healers all had to shift with the other DPS on our platform, and we had to shift to that platform I think Ruby was on, if I'm remembering right. So, like, some people will always be already on a safe spot, but like I said, your goal is to get to a safe spot, and you have one teleport to do it. So just be very cautious with taking that teleport. The only other thing I will make note of, if you are slow, it's going to sound very counterintuitive. If you are slow in identifying what to do, and you cannot dodge the sword in time for whatever reason, do the in and out, eat the sword. The sword will not kill you, the in and out will. Eat the hero blow. I will spread an adlo, you will live that hit. If it happens, you will live that hit. But take the sword, do not take the in and out. The in and out will one-shot you. Only 2 platforms not safe. Only one platform, 1 to 2.
One platform is half, the other 2 are not safe, and then there are 2 safe. But 3 platforms are safe.
Yes, there should always be some part of 3 platforms that are safe. Because it depends where he cleaves. Like, if he aimed south, then half of the south platform is safe, and then obviously all east or all west is safe. So there could be 2.5 safe platform. There should always be some combination of up to 2 to 2.5 platforms safe. Because if he targeted an inner card, you would have 1 fully safe platform and 2 half platforms safe. And then he'd be cleaving half in 1. But, yep. Effectively, half the room is always safe. But yeah, does that kind of make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Assume so if no one's up. But yeah, that I just wanted to mention that. So everyone was on the same page. But yeah, your goal is always going to be, as soon as the tether mechanic and the towers resolve, basically start staring at his arrows, whatever's closest to you. Start staring at his side arrow, start staring at his front arrow, whatever it is you need to look at. Just stare at that one thing. And as long as you're staring at that, the second he starts hero blow, you'll see that move. And the second you see that arrow move, I mean, I guess in theory it may not if he just keeps looking the way he's looking, but you should see it do something. And the second you see it move, be ready to just start moving. And my advice would be to always just try to get to the front and back of him, regardless of what the sword is. Always just get front or back, and then dodge the shit when you get to that front or back platform. Because the front and back is going to be, it'll always have a safe spot on it.
How'd you get it?
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's try to get this done. Be safe. Let's try to not make any mistakes in P1. Get this thing killed.
Let's begin, shall we?
Can the challenger defeat the wolf in his own lair?
In intercard, or sorry, cardinal. Excuse me. In cardinal.
I wonder if you can keep up.
One close.
Such speed, it is
Going to 2B.
With Fenrir's might, I rouse a storm.
Okay, get
The
to your
wind
spot.
answers
Go
my
counterclockwise. Knockbacks. And rotating. Supports cardinal. Yeah, two's out.
You must have heard, but they're not out of the fight yet.
Fenrir's power can be wielded in surprising ways.
Oh, where did that colossal thing come from?
Fly
Corner
true!
3. 1. Bar. Jump to 2B.
Not bad, not bad. But we've scarcely begun.
Okay. Starting at 1-3. It's gonna be Macy then Leon. healers next time. It's me, then Jen. Okay. Last will be Cat, followed by Ruby. Which Ruby you probably won't have to leave. So, yeah, you won't have to leave.
Bear my biting
wrong.
wings! Still you stand. How delightful! The earth is mine to command!
Look at the inner cards. North is 1. DPS to 1.
Pack of wolves!
Remember, you gotta
Pray,
go
Jim.
straight back.
Pray hard.
You can't go at an angle.
I didn't have enough nit for us, Jen. I tried.
Oh no! That was too much for the challenger!
All good. Okay.
Let's begin, shall we?
Can the challenger defeat the wolf in his own lair?
Out. Cardinal.
There! I wonder if you can keep up.
We're just early. Just reset that. I was trying something. It was not working the way I was hoping. So, not gonna do that again. I was sciencing. But I'm not gonna do that anymore. Okay. Whenever Cat's ready, we'll be good to go.
Let's begin, shall we?
Alright.
Can the challenger defeat the wolf in his own lair?
In. Cardinal. In. Cardinal.
There! I wonder if you can keep up.
Close.
Such speed, it's
Going
as
to
if there's a
B3.
pack of him.
With Fenrir's might, I rouse a storm. The wind answers
Going
my call.
clockwise, knockbacks. Going clockwise. Supports inner card.
Must have heard. But they're not out of the fight yet.
Fenrir's power can be wielded in surprising ways.
Oh, where did that colossal thing come from?
My truth!
1, 3. 3. It's gonna be far. Jump to D4.
Not bad, not bad. But we've scarcely begun.
Okay, starting at 1, 3. First is going to be Leon and then Cap. Alright, next will be Ruby, followed by Macy. Last will be Jin, followed by me. Nice job.
The worst timing ever.
That was very bad.
Bear my biting wings!
Yeah, that was a little quick. A little fast.
Still you stand. How delightful! The earth is mine to command!
Alright, look at the inner cards. 2 is north. Supports the 2.
A pack of wolves!
Get to your spots. Shift. It's going to be a close. It's going to be jumping to 4, over by 4D. Look at the heads. Dodge the heads.
Try this!
Alright, watch the clones. It's gonna be 2, and then 1. Support spread 2. Head to 1, DPS spread at 1. Get to a cardinal, don't care where. Out. Out, inner card. 2s. Well, 2's in a second.
Twos are
Really
so
fucking
far
weird
off.
timing. Yeah, they were. They were a little far off, and he was like 2% ahead.
No, I will not lose. I need more power. Fenrir's unbound might!
Two's wrong. 10 seconds late.
Egads! The rings be destroyed and they've fallen below!
No matter what becomes of my body, defeat is not an option.
Your platform.
They moved to floating death traps! How will they fight with so little room?
Now I fight with everything I have. Prepare yourself.
Line up.
There's no escape.
Dodge the guns. Everybody south. Except
Will
for
you
the
be able to
tanks.
stay on your feet?
Everyone south.
I will rent all asunder.
Right out. Right out. Remember, it's a far out. Lineups. Alright. Get to your quakes. And there's also your 2 window. Now we go south. Now we're south.
You'll have
Up the
nowhere
platform.
to stand.
Removal. And Dante's Voking. Stay stacked up. Right? Get to your platforms. And towers.
Dodge this if you can.
Right? DPS, get ready for your
The
tethers.
power of wind
And now
unleashed.
taking that over to Macy. And first is Jin. Next bait will be Bells. Leon's coming. Right. Next one is going to be Dante. And last bait will be mine. You're fine. You're fine. Last one will be.
Just remind me.
I was already in the middle of throwing one at you. Right, get south. Nice job. Get ready to go south as soon as possible. They'll need some help. Because I can't reach them. Get south. There we go. Alright, watch the rotaties. Be safe. Everyone will get south as soon as possible.
Cannot escape.
Alright,
from
we're
the
in.
wolf.
It's going to be an in, then a donut. Left side. Next will be a donut. Donut left. Sides right, all the way right. That'll be a donut. Donut left. And then an out. Out, or sorry, in, yes. Out, left, sorry. Sorry about that. We're fine. Get to your platforms for Quake. Platforms for Quake. That was a fucked up call on my part. And 2s. Line up for the thingies, donuts. My brain knew what I was doing, it just wasn't using the right words.
Follow.
Do the things,
That's all that matters. Follow.
dodge the guns. Tank Buster, everyone else is going south, and then you'll get ready to go to your platforms after. But Tank Buster first. Alright, DPS get to your platforms.
Back at you.
Alright. Remember, green's close, blue's far. Okay. Remember what we talked about. Be a tower, sure you're in your towers. Watch for the hero blow as soon as the tower goes off. Get in front or behind him. Out, 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 out. And then remember your platform you're going to. Get to your platforms, line up for ultraviolet. Get there as fast as you can. Move, move, move. So in this case, yep. Ruby, you come back to me. Come back to me. Come back to me. Come back to me.
Oh no, that was too much for the
That's okay. Everyone try to get south. Everyone try to get south.
I will draw upon my ult.
Jin, try to get here as quick as you can. And throw any mitt we need to at this.
I think.
Okay, thank you. We'll be fine. I'll be able to Seraphim it as soon as...
We'll have mid for the last one.
That's okay. That's fine. Just get ready to truck. Get off the platform now. As soon as it baits, tanks will be here. One of you is involved. Don't know which one. Okay, everyone else off. Dante stays on. You stay here. Yep. Thank you. Alright. Tanks stay here together in kitchen sink. Throw some buddy mid out. You guys could stay here together in kitchen sink this. Well, the healers will watch you. Just stay there together in kitchen sink it.
Neither side is holding back.
Alright, get off it. Next one will be Bell's Invul. Get off this. All remaining mid on the next one.
Use 1 minute.
Pot.
Use your pot on these 1 minutes coming
yes.
up in 14 seconds.
Yep. Alright. All other mid. Throw all mid we have at it.
I will prevail.
8 hits, all available mid, anything you have. Because he's racked damage, so we just heal through it.
You're strong.
Alright.
I admit.
And that's enrage.
I am the one
If
who
we can't kill
will
him.
win.
Wow, so close.
So, if we... Okay, no.
I
Honestly,
thought you said the person has to go all the way east, and they have to jump twice. So wouldn't Jin jump twice?
No. On the 2 platforms, the eastmost person on each platform jumps once. So in our case, what happened was it was you, Leon, and I think it was Leon. It was you, Leon, and Jin. Jin was the eastmost person in our lineup with the thing, so he jumps east. Something was happening on the other side of the room. It would have been Cat was marked, Macy was... It should have been Cat and Macy were marked. One of them was more east than the other, so they would jump to the further platform on their side, and the other one would plant. And then Leon goes west because he's on the 3-person platform and the westmost person on it. Someone always stays on the starting platform. And because you were sandwiched between the 2, you stayed.
No. Never mind. I thought something else.
You are totally okay. That is all good. Heck, real fucking close. So, yeah, go for it though. Yes. So if there was, there will be 2 people going east, 1 off of each platform. 1 on each platform will go east. Yeah, that was my bad. We would have had that if I didn't fucking pooch the in call there. I'm sorry about that.
No, we would have had it if I didn't fuck up.
I mean, there were a lot of little things we could have done better to fix it, but shit, we just get it this next time. Real nice job, though, on Heroes Blow. Very nice on that. So
we're potting with our first 2s and with the mid ones at the very end.
Correct, yes. So you'll have a pot right at the very end of the phase.
You probably want to pot as soon as the potion is up, because
yes.
If you pot with the 1s, you're going to have like 10 seconds.
Yeah, I will tell you, pot as soon as we get to that last platform, pot. Because when Ruby called for the pot in like 14 seconds, I potted right there and I got the full use of my pot. So when you hit the last platform, just pop your pot. The 2s will come up like 10 seconds later, but you'll still get the full use of it before he nukes through the platform. So. But yeah, very nice. And yes, yeah, so you could either pot the beginning. So you basically have two options. And it all is dealer's choice on how you want to handle it. You could pot the second we get there, and then pot the last set of twos. Or like, pot one of the middle sets of twos, excuse me. There'll be a two it'll come up for. And then in the other one, like, so that's your one option. Your other option being, like you said, pot the first set of twos, pot at the very end. Either one works, you just got to do one or the other. Yep.
Lucy, are you ready?
Yeah.
She said she's ready. Alright,
Can I?
let's just run back, get back in bed, get this thing killed.
At 0.7%.
What?
It logged it at 0.7%.
Yeah,
Let's begin, shall
that's what it
we?
was when you went untargetable. That makes sense. At least that's what I
Can
saw.
the challenger defeat the wolf in his own lair?
That's what my focus target said. So, a little bit cleaner and it's dead.
I'll say shake for that last platform.
Okay.
We
In
can
a
do
normal
first.
world, we would have had a lot more mid in Intercard. One thing I will say for the tanks as well, this might help you guys, because I'm guessing what you were going to say, Dante, was your
I wonder if you can keep up.
your long boy wasn't up.
Yeah.
Pop it as soon as, like, pop it early.
Speed, it's
This
as if there's a
far
pack of
It's far.
Close.
Sorry, it's close.
It's close. It's close.
It's a Ruby's far.
It's far for Ruby, is close for everybody else. But I know from what I read, you can pop it at the very end of the. You can
With
pop it as soon as
Fenrir's
the
might,
ultraviolet
I
is done.
rouse the storm.
Okay.
If you pop it there, it'll cover. And you're
Cat,
fine.
I will be
The
fainting
wind
right first.
answers
Cat.
my call.
Knockbacks going clockwise. Supports Cardinal.
Oh man.
Don't worry.
Just, yeah, we'll just heal through it. We
It disappeared underneath me and then it didn't snap me.
handled worse. We've handled worse, it's fine.
You can't greet that. I mean, you can greet it. It's just like 1 pixel in the dark.
Must have hurt. But they're
Still
not
not
out of the
fucking
fight yet.
harrowing hell, so I'm okay with
Yeah, that was a trip.
Fenrir's
You actually have a
power
cool
can
hero
be
to use
wielded
it.
in surprising ways.
Were you able to do that without LB, take LB3?
Where did that
What?
colossal thing come from?
Harrowing Hell?
it. Harrowing hell? No.
My truth.
Shit. 2. I got a raise on. Or I will have a raise on. Wait, no I won't, because I know you fucking MPing. This is gonna be a far. Now I have a raise on.
We should know, but
Yeah, just reset this. Just reset this.
They're back on their feet.
Partially
Let's see if they
something
can
with that
stay standing.
control, so that was why I got hit by that. Let me fix it super quick. Yeah, we would have been fine.
There was a lot of mopping that they would have had to recover a lot of mana from. Yeah, but Ash was out of mana, Jen was out of mana.
How
It
the
was just
fuck did that end up over there? Jesus. Okay, we're good now. That explains it. Okay, we're good now. Somehow my stupid auto cursor fucking... Sacred Soil was like trying to fucking go around the corner. I don't know how it ended up over there, but
Let's begin, shall we?
it was trying to place like fucking 45 degrees off of where I normally want it and like 20 yalms away. Yes. Yalms. And Cardinal.
There. I wonder if you can keep up.
Far.
Such speed, it's as if
Is
there's
that
a
A?
pack of him.
With Fenrir's might, I rouse a storm. The wind answers my call.
Wrong counterclockwise. Counterclockwise. Knock back. DPS center card.
Must have heard. But they're not out of the fight yet.
Fenrir's power can be wielded in surprising ways.
Things.
Oh, where did that colossal thing come from?
Flying true!
2-4. 2. Real close. It's going 4D.
Not bad. Not bad. But we've scarcely begun.
Starting at 1-3. May see that Ruby. It's gonna be me then, Jin. Last is going to be Leon, followed by Cat, but it won't be necessary for Cat. Just a couple seconds.
Bear my biting wings! Still you stand.
Look at the inner cards.
How delightful! The earth is mine to command!
4 is north. Supports to 4.
Pack of wolves!
To your spots. Chip. Maybe a far. Jump to 1.
The challenger's down! Is this the end?
All my friends are dead.
I'm not quite sure how you and Kat lived. To be perfectly honest.
Bruh, I blinked and the party list was gone. I don't even know what happened. I was too hyper-focused.
No clue.
I just looked up and it's just empty.
Let's just run it back. Let's just lock back in. Run it back.
The Gooner Rage, you mean?
Let's begin, shall we?
You're saying he's a golden
Can the
gooner?
challenger defeat the wolf in his own lair?
That movie Gooner?
I think we watched a different movie because I think it was called The Goonies, but
Oh, that movie.
in a card.
There! I wonder
I'm
if
sure
you
there
can keep
was
up.
some type of version of that. Close. Going to egg.
It's as if there's a pack of him.
With Fenrir's might, I rouse the storm.
Get to your spots.
The wind answers my call.
Going counterclockwise, knock back. Going counterclockwise. Supports inner card.
They must have heard, but they're not out of the fight yet.
Fenrir's power can be wielded in surprising ways.
Oh, where did that colossal thing come from?
My truth!
2, 4. 4. R. You jump to 40.
Not bad. Not bad. But we've scarcely begun.
Starting at 1-3. Okay. First will be Ruby and then Macy. Ruby, Macy. Alright. Next will be me, then Jen. Okay. And last will be Cat, followed by Leon.
Bear my biting wings! Still you stand. How delightful!
Okay, the inner cards.
The earth is mine to command!
North is 3, supports the 3.
Pack of wolves!
spots and go. Chip. It'll be a far. Going to C. Going to C. Dodge the heads. I'm an idiot. It's fine. Just get me up.
Dad, how did you not get hit?
Sneaker Gooner technique.
Super Gooner technique. Yeah.
Jumped over it.
He's a gooner, he's just that
Try
slippery.
this!
Anyway, we're watching the clips. Okay, we're gonna go to 2,
Easy
and then
bad.
stay 2. 2, stay 2. Supports are spreading first. Staying at 2. Okay, get to a cardinal, don't care where. Out. Cardinal. Out. Cardinal. 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 Cardinal.
I'm sorry, though.
I was like, I don't know where you
Really
going.
good adjust. Really fucking good adjust. I am sorry.
Freaking greedy ass melee motherfucker.
No, I just read it wrong. I am so sorry. Thank
Okay.
you. Good adjust.
I just saw you there and I'm like, huh, I got all this room for activities over here.
Bell did good. Do what you
No.
said.
It was a
Will
bell
not lose.
sandwich.
I need more power!
Full of rocks.
Fenrir's unbound might!
What I would expect off the playground. Let's just focus. Remember, you can either pop here or pop the first 2s, whichever you're more comfortable with, and then pop the last. Or I guess the second to last set of 2s. So, either one works. However you're most comfy.
Like, last time I did this, I killed Ash. So I figured I'd go extra hard either way, and I won't kill Ash.
Okay,
No matter what
we are all good.
becomes of my
Okay,
body,
let's just focus up, get this done.
defeat is not an option.
They moved
Get
to
your
floating
platforms.
death traps. How will they fight with so little room?
Now I fight with everything I have. Prepare yourself.
Alright, line up. Dodge your
There's
guns.
no escape.
Everyone south with the tanks.
Will you be able to stay on your feet?
Everybody south.
I will rent all asunder.
Right out. Right out. Lineup is immediately after. Line up now. Get to your lineup spots. Alright, dodge your guns. Quake. And 2s. Lost pot. Everybody is south.
You'll have nowhere to stand.
Alright. We are we're staying. We're staying. We're staying. We're staying. We're staying. Alright, get to your platforms.
Dodge this if you can.
Okay, Tether's coming out.
The power of wind unleashed.
Okay, Tether's good. Jin's in. Jin and Ruby in. Jin and Ruby in. Alright, next will be Dante, or not Dante, Bell and Cadden. Excuse me, Bell and Cad are in. Alright, next will be Dante and Macy in. Last will be me and Leon in. Alright, get ready to go south. Brace yourself. Get ready to dodge some stuff.
You cannot escape
We're in,
from the wolf.
then out. Left, in. Out next. Out, right. Next
What?
will be in. In, left. In, left. Line, left, or line left, line left, line left, line left. And then donut right. I do not have raise for him, so whoever gets that quake, just sack it, I guess.
Oh no, that was too much for the
Do the spread.
That is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate.
Yep. Okay, so try this up. Yeah, thank you. I will get Macy up. Tank Buster.
They're back on their feet. Let's see if they
Get
can
to your
stay
platforms.
standing.
Still alright. Just gonna do this. Tether's coming next. Get to your platforms, hang out. Green's close. Blue's far. Alright, watch for the blade after. Watch his side arrows. Okay. You want to be in? Get back to your platforms.
The challenger's down.
Oh shit.
Is this the
Damn
end?
it. I am so sorry. God fucking damn it. I overshot that. Okay, get ready to jump to whatever platform is free.
I will
Whatever
try
platform
not
works.
by all to
Thank you.
defeat you.
I don't know what's gonna
We'll be
work.
okay. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. He should be able to raise to you, provided he takes the raise.
Free stay.
Yeah, sorry.
Now we move now. Now we move. Uh-oh, he's dead though. I will grab him as soon as he reappears. Get off the platform. Dante's involved.
2 minutes, both.
Take it as soon as you can, Cat.
Oh,
Oh. Okay, so that's what happens if we don't have someone on the platform. It goes kaboom. All good. Yep, all good. Not bad though.
Have to race
Yeah.
to officially start.
Exactly. Yeah, so just remember, especially for that side dodge, best thing you can do is save sprint. But regardless of if it's an in or an out or whatever the case may be, best thing I can say is make sure you always reset to center of the platform after you do anything. Because, like, in and out is easy, right? Like, if it's in and out, you don't have to go super far off of center. Because it's half getting hit. So, like, if it's in left, go right here. If it's in right, go, right here. And if it's out, obviously, the more you straddle the center line, the less distance you have to go. So, just gotta be safe with it, and we'll be all good. I can't believe I fucking ran off that goddamn platform.
Did you really?
Yeah, that's why I was like, what the fuck? It's because I stepped on the thing, and I watched my timer, and I saw my timer hit what looked like 0, but didn't fall off, and I tapped the stick, and I fucking walked off the thing and off the cliff. Because I thought I had jumped. I thought it was jumping me, and it hadn't jumped me. I just got antsy. So. No, good stuff though so far. We're getting there. Just gotta get that last bit in. Well, that's unfortunate. Jin just lost power.
What?
For real?
Yeah. He just said, he's like, power just died.
American power infrastructure strikes again?
I mean, there's a
They
storm
really don't
hitting
want us
this
to clear
area.
this.
Seems that way. No, there's been a storm hitting through here. So, we'll just give it a few minutes and hopefully it jumps right back. I mean, we're right there, too. We just gotta get a pull in there. One clean pull.
The Harbinger 1 spacecraft from humanity's first Mars expedition just crash-landed in suburban Florida. This is the same mission that launched 4 brave astronauts over 2 years ago. All communications with the crew had ceased following a report of a food shortage emergency on their way home. We now go live to Chun Swatney in the field. Chun?
Thank you, Stan. I'm here at the scene of the crash where NASA agents have recovered the capsule and have begun rescue efforts. Now, it's important to remember these astronauts have gone days without eating, so at this point, their bodies must be emaciated. Some viewers may find what is about to be shown truly disturbing. I'm here with surviving astronaut of the horrific
Ruby Star Rail was
crash,
fucking with
Brunch
me today.
Williams.
What'd it do?
I was like, I'm gonna even out my my light cone in preparation for, like, get it to an even 10.
Just disappear.
And I got it to an even 10 because it gave me a fucking another Anaxa light cone.
I've just heard reports that
Nice, I
And
guess.
that light cone is not good. It's not good for anybody but him.
I mean, that's just in general.
Right, but like some have some, you know, like literally his cone is like, if you apply weakness, do X. Which nobody does but him as an erudition.
It just means you gotta superimpose it.
That's what I did. That's what I did with it. It actually wasn't a terrible superimpose. Like, it wasn't great, but it was good enough.
Care to comment?
But yeah, it's not terrible. Superimposed, it does. If he implants weakness, it ups his damage by 70%. And whenever he attacks someone, they get a 15% defense shred for 2 turns.
Good to me.
So
Apparently,
it's
people are
pretty.
saying he's like insane single target too.
He's very good. He is very good. Him and Herta together just nuke shit. I also realized I was burning all my energy. I didn't realize you could set the characters from the next patch as targets already.
Yep. They do that
I
once
don't
they
know.
drop their catching up with videos.
I've never noticed it because I never usually set build targets because I always just kind of go, oh, I know I need this, and I just go get it. So when I realized that yesterday, I was like, well, that's helpful. Probably. Actually, no, it probably would have been a machinist gun. Let's be real. That's usually the correct answer. I mean, that always happens. Well, while we wait to get an update on his thing, if you want to look at the loot sheet and you haven't done that yet, go for it. Um, but yeah, you can update that accordingly. If you are looking at the little part at the bottom too, depending on if you open it up, anything that has no highlight on it means nobody's trying to dibs it. Anything that has a green highlight means only one person is attempting to take it anywhere on the thing, and blues are 2 people or more. So you can use that to inform yourself as well. No, didn't hit auto battle on that. That's done. That's done. Hey, so you bought your gloves, right?
No, because I haven't capped this weekend.
Okay. I was just updating things while we're sitting here.
Rat.
Can't upgrade him yet, so it wasn't at the top of my to-do list.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. They're sciencing. What? Excuse me? What? Sir. He doesn't pull until you get to here?
Can the challenger defeat the...
Wait, fuck? Yeah.
What? Why is he aggroed on me? He's not attacking.
I walked all the way to 2 before he aggroed me. Like, I just started inching around the room and he didn't hit me until I got to right here.
Pretty sure that's actually melee range too.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you could get to the side of the 2. Like, you can't make it onto the marker, but you can 100% get real damn close. I don't think it does a whole lot for anybody, but yeah, look.
No,
As long as you're on the wall, he doesn't aggro until you get to the 2.
Oh,
Yeah, like the point of the 2.
he aggro's when you get into melee range.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Still surprising though.
Oops, I shit.
Oh, I touched the Baja Blast.
Uh, I'm guessing he DM'd you, Ash, because I don't see his status on.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. His last thing is just his power is out, and that's it.
The last thing he said was power's out. They had a storm just pass through, so hoping it comes back quick. I asked if he pulled any like outage reports, but he says there's nothing because it's probably too early. And that was it. So he doesn't really have any kind of ETA.
I
That's
I
the
will be
rough
out of
part.
state this weekend, so I will not be able to You guys will just clear without me, most likely.
Do we want to just de-instance until he possibly gets back and be pretty much just be on call?
Yeah, we can just do that.
Because
We can just do that.
there's no point in sitting in here if he's going to be gone for like an hour.
If
2
he's going to
hours.
be gone, yeah.
I mean, just don't lock yourself into something that's not going to be able to come back.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm doing MSQ roulette. I don't know about you.
But yeah, I mean, that's fine. That takes at worst
I was
a half
joking.
hour. That takes a half hour. Like, if he came back in the next half hour.
You got cutscene skipper. Prey takes 15 minutes.
Yeah, getting all those people on board to do that. Good luck.
I'm guessing. So you said you're out of town. Are you out of town on Monday as well?
No.
I mean, worst case scenario, we could try Monday. If it didn't work, it would suck, but I don't think that would be an issue. Is there maintenance on Monday?
No, not that Monday. It's the Monday after.
I was gonna say, I think it's the next Monday.
That's when they're bringing the occult thing.
Yeah, because I was gonna say we're still a couple weeks off of that. So like we
get
could
budget 2.0?
worst case scenario. Yep.
Yeah.
So like worst case scenario, we could try pivoting to Monday if we really had to, because we're close. I mean, we're as close as fucking close can be. I will say this: the 0.7 is picture perfect proof. Make sure you hit both your pot windows, because half of us I think missed one of our pots. I don't know if that's 0.7 or not, but every little bit helps.
It very possibly could be though.
It could be. It could be. It very well couldn't be. So it's all kind of hit or miss. But
I mean, 4 people not potting in a 2-minute window is easily 0.7%.
How many of them were DPS?
I think 1 or 2.
Okay.
We're just on standby right now, Leon, so people can run around and go do other stuff for a bit. Well, we're waiting to see if Jin's power pops back.
Macy.
What's up?
So the questions I have for Reaper is, you know how, hold on, because maybe I was just overcomplicating it, but you know how sometimes you'll have 2 buttons glowing, right? But they both go to the same route. Like they both go to flank on their own, and they both go to find on their own. Does it matter? Okay.
Do you want me to try and give you just a quick rundown of Viper?
Yeah, well, the question is, I mean, I assume that I want to Swift up first and then stealth buff after, is my assumption. So I know that one. But then when they come up again and you get like to choose which way to go, it doesn't matter at that point, right? Because your self buffs are just, they last a minute and you hit them like every freaking 15 seconds. So, I mean,
It's like 40 seconds, I think.
yeah, so it doesn't really matter, right, which way you go.
Which way you go for what?
So like I said, sometimes depending, I guess, on your rotation, how you're doing it, 2 buttons will glow at the same time.
I think it only happens at the very start, doesn't it?
No, it happens several times.
It only happens at the start, or if you let your... Hang on. It'll be easier if I can share my screen. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's if a debuff falls off, maybe?
It's a debuff. Hang on. Where is there a training dummy? I forget. It's Korthos, right?
I'd always go to Ulda.
Yeah. Wait, is there one Ulda? I guess there is one.
There's a striking dummy in Ulda?
Right outside.
Oh, outside. I was gonna say I always go to the one at in Coerthus.
Oh.
Because there's one in Falcons. There's a whole bunch of them in Falcon's Nest right next to the teleporter.
So I'm gonna assume you already like researched some of this, but
hell no.
Okay, so please excuse my hotbars because they are set up for someone that clicks because I click everything, so it's probably gonna look like a hot mess. But you always start with the one that gives you your speed buff first.
Yep, that's what I do.
Because I haven't clicked anything, they're both lit up. So it doesn't matter which one you click. You're going to get the buff no matter what. But what one I pick is going to give me a buff for the next one. Does that make sense?
They're both going to give you the same buff, though, right? So it doesn't matter.
It's just going to be automatic. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But now only one of these is lit up. The only way
and that's fine.
The only way you're going to get both of these lit up is if you don't have this buff anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Is if you let that fall off.
Well, I think that's fine. I think sometimes Because if you're just constantly doing the rotation, like what's glowing, you'll always have your buffs up, right? Like no matter what.
I'm
I
gonna go
think-
play some Apex. Message me if he comes back.
Yep, I'll DM you.
I think if you let this fall off, you're not getting the potency increase.
But I think you can't let it fall off, right? If you're just constantly doing the glowing thing, I mean, you couldn't possibly.
In theory, if you're doing your rotation, you have a bunch of other things going on at level 100. It is very possible that this will fall off. It's a minute long, but it's very
That's what I'm saying.
possible it might wind up falling off if you get stuck in like your 2-minute rotation and all the other shit. But like
Okay.
what I was trying to say about positionals, only your 1-2-3 combo has positionals and Vicewinder. That's it. And like what I would say is your green is always a flank, and your red, doesn't matter which one, is always a rear. On the
Yeah, I've learned that.
Or like what Ash was saying, they have the name in it.
Yeah, no, I can't like read it. Yeah, no, but the color. I noticed the color. The color helped me out.
With Vicewinder, the only thing you can do is I put them on my hotbar in a way that I know. I know this one is rear and I know this one is flank. I set up my hotbars and I know everything on the left is rear and everything on the right is flank. That's the only way I can remember it. Is I just set my hotbars up that I know where it's at.
Kill me. Wow. All right.
And when you use Vicewinder, because it has the 2 charges, so like if I say I use this one, these 2 are going to change to its like your weave follow-up. If you put them correctly, they always highlight in the order you press. So if I click this one on the left, this one's going to highlight first.
Yeah, no, I have that set up as well. I like that on controller. On controller, it's actually really nice how I have it set up.
Yeah,
I just didn't. Damn it.
But those are your only positionals. Those are the only positionals you have to actually worry about.
Flank and rear. Okay, nope, I have that fine. And then
And you want to make sure you have your serpent's tail like somewhere near this, because that's where you get your monkeys in a barrel, your death rattle.
so it really is simple. Okay.
It really is.
Yeah, it's not an overly complex class. It's just
Okay. All right. Well, I was overthinking it
It's
because
a
like, I
lot
know
of
there's like,
gauge.
yeah, gauge management, like how Samurai used to be. Yeah, I know.
So, because my 2-minute window is I need to get 50 gauge to use a reawaken, and your 2-minute buff, Serpent's Ire, lets you use reawaken. So basically, you go into your 2-minute window. You wouldn't do this, but you make sure you have your buffs, right? Ideally, you'd hit like the button for your combo, and you'd use your you do 2 reawakens. Your 2-minute window is literally just 2 reawakens.
Yeah, I don't have it yet. I'm still at level 81. So.
Yeah, but that's why like the 2-minute window has no positionals. It's just a whole lot of fucking weaving.
it's hit 72 buttons all at once.
Yeah, and then I have to build 50 more gauge because I just have to build 50 gauge and then do a reawaken sometime for the 1 minute. But then you have to monitor your uncoiled furies, which are my range skill that are not a DPS loss, so I don't have to be greedy. So every time you spend a Vicewinder charge, you get an uncoiled fury, and every time you use your 2-minute skill, you get an uncoiled fury. And you have to you just don't want to let them overcap. And these are an AoE, and reawakens an AoE, and everything that hits really hard is an AoE.
Okay.
It's all just gauge management and charge management, and not letting this overcap and not letting that overcap and not letting your buffs fall off. So it's literally like just a hybrid of Samurai and Reaper.
I was gonna say, yeah, it really does feel more like Samurai. How Samurai used to be and should be still. technically, Samurai doesn't have any gauge management.
No,
Really
it has no
annoying.
gauge management. Your little bit of gauge management you have is making sure that you have your chip for your stuff in your 2-minute window, but like you have a 2-minute
You get it from
skill now that
Shoten,
gives
doesn't
you the
even
gauge
matter.
for it. Yeah.
I was gonna say you get it from Iki Shoten, so it literally does not matter. I know. It really annoys me when they got rid of Kaiten for two reasons. One, because it was stylish. Two, because it required gauge management. You could screw up. Like, you can't screw up now. You could screw up back when we had Kaiten, and that made the class good. But whatever. I will sit on that soapbox forever.
I think that was what they were trying to accomplish with a lot of classes, was take away some of that. They took away, every class lost a little bit of nuance, which is unfortunate because for certain classes it was really nice. And there are some classes that I think need a little bit more. But, you know, it's because Kaiten was basically the same problem Dark Knight used to have, although I think for Dark Knight it was infinitely fucking worse. Because, like, Kaiten, you really were only Kaitening one hit. Like, you were only Kaitening one thing, right? For the or well, two things, I guess. The problem
one.
Dark Knight had was Dark Knight had stupid dark arts. And I don't know if you remember dark arts, but dark arts was the fucking worst. Because basically, dark arts, you could just burn MP whenever you fucking felt like it to dark arts a skill and make that skill hit. It was basically Kaiten, but it cost MP. But so Dark Knight was just a hot mess when it came out because you dark arts everything. Your goal was to like dark arts half your fucking buttons. So like Dark Knight was weaving multiple things between every GCD, it felt like. And so it was just incredibly busy. And then it stopped being so busy when they got rid of it, and people were real mad they got rid of it, which I kind of understand.
Well, when you get
like,
good at something,
I understand why. Dark Knight was fun. It was just the problem was and it kind of has this problem now, but to a lesser extent. The problem was Dark Knight didn't have a ton of great MIT, but it had TBN. You know, it had TBN. The problem was if everything always takes MP, TBN doesn't do you any fucking good if you don't have any MP.
Yeah.
And there were too many Dark Knights that would just completely crater their MP, and that Tank Buster would come and they'd have nothing for it, so they would just get exploded. So that was kind of unfortunate. But otherwise, like, I think Viper's probably my favorite melee. Partially just because I think on a controller it plays really well.
Yeah,
versus some of the other melee that don't.
The way I have it set up is really nice. Although I want to see, I need to see your loadout at some point in time.
Mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let me see here. Let me see what I can do. So I've got...
Here, why don't you share your screen?
Yeah,
probably
probably
be
the controller setup might be better.
Yeah, so that would probably be the easier solution. Here, let me see here. Where's that button? I don't know how shaky this will be, but
there we go.
But so the way I have mine set up is effectively I have all my AoEs on left trigger. So all my AoEs and then my gap closer are on left trigger, and then Bloodbath's there too, just because I needed a place for it. But so all of my like AoE skills are over here. And then on my other side, I basically just have so I have like my ranged attack is always on X. For every class, I always have it on X. And then if I had a 1, 2, 3, it always is circle, square, triangle. In this case, I have like my triangle there to get into Vice Winder. I have those two skills there. And then I have my uncoiled here. And then my secondary bars are always very similar. So my cross hotbar is effectively just all my other stuff. So Like, I've got Limit Break hanging off to the side. I've got these two hanging out on their own for whenever I need them. I have my pot, my, all my other random stuff. And then my 3 follow-up skills and Serpent's Ire are hanging out.
Yeah. Can I join into the
And so the reason I like that is because when I'm hitting my buttons, I can hit whatever the case may be, hit my back, and then I just hold both triggers, hit my barrel of monkeys, and then I'm on to my next button. But then this is what she was saying about like the 2-minute, I have all my follow-ups basically on the cross hotbar. So in between every button, I'm basically just holding down right trigger the whole time, hitting left trigger, hitting X or whatever button it is, and then
I'll show you what I got then. Hold on.
constantly cycling it.
There you go. This is what I got so far.
Yeah, yours is somewhat similar-ish.
So I got this, and then if I go into this one, I already have these on the flank. This is flank to flank. And then rear to rear.
Okay.
But I have it kind of mirrored on the other side for when I am getting ready to do that.
I'm surprised you have Serpent Tail in 3 spots.
Which one's Serpent Tail?
It's the follow-up.
It's the one that
the barrel of monkeys
turns into Death
Well, it
Rattle,
turns
and
into-
also turns
Oh, yeah.
into your follow-up,
Yep.
your Reawaken.
No, I could probably get rid of it on this one. I could probably get rid of for something else. I don't know what. Because this is
But frankly,
good.
probably Uncoiled Fury when you get it, unless you don't.
That's right here.
You have it on your bar already. So
Yeah, I have everything basically on the first, and then I have AOE here, and then
Okay,
a very
that makes more
similar thing here. So like this, and then like this. I think the best thing about Viper is it doesn't take a penalty from going from AOE to single target like every other melee class. Like Dragoon,
Single target combo if you don't finish it.
Dragoon is so bad for changing from single target to AOE and vice versa. It's so
Yeah,
bad.
Your punishment is gauge loss. If you don't,
Yeah.
if you cut yourself off mid combo on either one, you lose gauge. That's
Oh,
all
it's
it
gauge because I haven't made it to gauge yet. That's why I'm like, oh, there's no penalty. Okay. that
Yeah,
makes sense.
no. So your 1, 2, 3 combo, or just basically completing either your AOE combo or your single target combo is 10 gauge. And if
Okay.
you interrupt to swap between single or AOE, you lose that. You lose your combo basically. It starts over. So I fucked up what I was doing because I wasn't thinking. I can't talk and think at the same time. But yeah, that's your punishment: is you lose your gauge generation.
Yeah, I've managed to get, almost the entire kit on right here, left and right. Historically,
That's
though,
what I
like,
think is nice about this class.
yeah, I know, right? Is the because there's a lot of button bloat for Dragoon, I guess.
Yeah, they gave us a lot of buttons, but they put them all on the same button and made it very brain dead, which was nice.
Yeah.
I hope that's kind of. I know there's a lot of people who don't like that. I personally hope that is something that they try to do going forward.
I don't like
condense
it.
down.
I don't like it primarily because, again, I like to put flanking abilities on the sides and
Right.
hind
So it causes
abilities
you to have to double up, kind of.
here and here. Well, it's not that. It's that like I literally can't. Now I got to look at the color. You know what I mean? Like and remember.
Right.
I can't do that with Viper. Except
No,
for
that makes sense.
except for Vicefinder. Vicefinder is the only time I can do that. So this is how I normally do it. Right? This is the side, so I'm hitting the side. Right? This is a front or back, so I'm hitting the back. Right? Like that resonates with me. But with the fucking main combo, it could be anywhere. Right? And it's just I don't like
that makes sense.
Yeah, on Samurai,
that makes
I liked
sense.
I had a lot more, I guess, control over what positional I wanted to hit when, so I could make more choices
Yes,
over
that too.
what I wanted to do, especially like if I knew at this point during the fight the tanks were going to be doing this with the boss or I needed to be here, I could organize my rotation. Also, Samurai I think has a little bit more correction. If I fuck up my rotation on Samurai, there's room to fix it. I could do rotational math to push myself forward a GCD, or you know, I could do things to fix it. You're kind of just stuck. Viper is Viper. If you are on flank, you are on flank. But the
Same thing with Dragoon. Yeah.
But I don't have that many positionals, so I can just line up, like I can push my 1-2-3 combo to 1-2 and then pop Vicewinder and then True North, all three positionals within True North, and then I don't have positionals for a little while. Like it's the positional requirement is far less than Samurai, so the fluidity doesn't really matter as much, I guess. I have run into far less scenarios on Viper than on Samurai where I had issues with positionals. It's just if we hit like a mechanic where we just don't have a lot of positionals, like in the last fight where we're doing the spinning around the room, I just use reawaken. I just make sure I'm doing my 1 minute reawaken there, because you're just spending gauge. You don't have to do it at exactly the 1 minute mark. You just make sure you do it at a point that's not going to conflict with the 2 minute window.
Yeah.
And refreshing your buff, so you have a lot. Your fluidity is there, I guess. So, like, you can use that when you know you're not going to be able to hit positionals, because it doesn't need fucking positionals. Also, yeah, Jin posted. I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah, no, his looks like all Northwest Indiana lost power.
Wait, what? Is he in Indiana?
Yeah,
I'm in Indiana.
Yeah, he posted a picture that I can't see these towns, but I was gonna say I see Crown Point, I see Valparaiso.
I don't think that's how you pronounce that.
I don't. Close enough.
Valparaiso.
Valparaiso. I have no idea.
You're adding an A in there. I feel like
maybe.
Yeah,
maybe Hobart. I can't tell if Hobart the city.
Tiny little bit knock out his power. That's crazy.
Yeah, so he just got.
They must have had like a major transformer or something go down to knock out like an entire fucking region.
Yeah, that's rough.
I don't think I'm gonna go back to selling the 7 Seas. I don't think he can.
Yeah, go for it. Like I said, we'll see if he does.
An expert with me really fast.
Yeah, sure. I'll do an expert. Get more of my 90-some tomes.
Speedrun an expert. Because I'm gonna have to cap by the end of the week. You want to heal or you want to tank?
I don't care.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go for a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. All good. I will
have Dante call me.
Yep, I will have him do that. In the meantime, I am also just gonna do this because I know there's some people there. I'm just gonna see if people can make Monday work. I'll just have someone throw a thumbs up on this.
I'm not gonna upload again unless you really care. But I think that we have
I don't care. No, I don't care about that. There. Yeah, so provided everybody can do that, worst case scenario, we can just pivot to Monday. Quite frankly, it shouldn't even take us that long to do it, because we did 3 polls today and almost cleared it, so... Provided everyone can do Monday, we can just pivot it to Monday. Worst case scenario. Okay, you're healing, you said?
Yes, I'm gonna go pee.
Okay. All right. It's unfortunate, but the internet has, or well, rather weather has decided we're just kind of getting beat up today, or past couple days. Can't control those acts of God sometimes.
What are we calling it?
Well, Jin posted a thing or sent me a thing, and he's got all of Northwest Indiana has lost power.
Oh, damn.
So, for context, I will throw it in general. This is what his map looks like right now. That's what his map of his area looks like. So, because he's not able to get back, I'm just seeing if everybody is able to do Monday. If everybody can do Monday, then we'll go with Monday. Obviously, if we can't get everyone to do Monday, I can always ask the ninja we had before to go on the weekend and help us try to clear. But obviously, I'd prefer it if we can get all 8 people to do Monday, because I don't think it should take us more than a couple pulls to get it killed, based on the fact that it took us 3 pulls today to see an enrage in there. I don't think it should take us more than, a handful to kill it on Monday.
We just need 14 minutes.
Realistically, we need an hour. If we had an hour, we should be able to knock it out in an hour. And it maybe is less than an hour, but you know what I mean? To compensate for a death or 2, it's what it is. Or a mistake or 2. So, that's why I pinged everybody in the one thing. Is if they're able to accomplish that, then we can do that. Because I'm guessing he's not going to end up having power. Just based on his map. I'm guessing power is going to be a hard commodity for him.
I forgot for a moment we were on Dynamis, and then...
Let's get to on Dynamis. This is probably going to take a couple minutes to actually pop.
Surprised we were waiting for an expert pop with a tank and a healer.
Yeah, all 7 people on Dynamis need to queue for expert. This is the cost of being on a place where you can actually buy a house. Is you get to actually buy a house, but you sure as shit can't, you can't queue for anything near your house. Yeah, it's unfortunate. We've had some weather-related power issues this week, but what can you do, You can't control the acts of God sometimes, is the unfortunate reality. On a positive, at least we went the hour early today, because that allowed us to see effectively under a 1%. So
yeah, seriously, if we started at 7, we would have seen 1 pull and not right.
Right. Well, if we started at 7, it would have been dead. That's the funny part. We didn't need a whole lot more. We were pretty much right there.
It might have been faster to transfer to Aether and Q. Jesus.
Now I'm third in line.
I'm second in line. This is kind of sad. Where did DPS at?
They're all on Aether. That's the problem. No, I'm just glad we saw through that last bit. We had obviously a little bit of confusion right at the end of that ultraviolent. But I know I looked at the log too, and it's like I said, we were missing some pots because I think some people missed the early pot. From what I saw, they missed the early pot in phase 2, so.
I still got to work on my rotation at the end there. I screwed up kind of bad, just hard focusing on the mechanics. I looked down and I was fucking capped on gauge.
The way I saw it was we missed the early pot. We also had 5 people truck a damage down during champion circuit at the end. So, I mean, we had a couple little things get us, but all that tells me is we don't need a whole lot of pulls to do it, because we're getting better at getting that stuff done. The nice part is if Jin can't make it back today, if we can get everybody to go on Monday, presumably we can go on Monday, knock out a clear. That puts us in the most fresh position to get Tuesday knocked out, and then there is high potential we go Monday, kill it Monday, go Tuesday, and potentially knock out all 4 fights in one day.
Wow.
Because we've had, And if we can do that, then everybody just gets their Wednesday and Thursday to hang out. So, There's some benefit there too.
We're still gonna do them through reclears.
We do have
Yeah.
to do through reclears now.
Yep. The plan is to do the through
Not all of
reclears,
us
but
got 30 reclears in Party Finder.
it was 9. It was 9. I got
Is this
9
still capped per week?
30.
Nope. Nope.
No. Okay.
So the plan of attack will be once we get the plan will be obviously we'll do our reclears. We'll give people a couple weeks where they can just kind of chill after Savage. You know, because we did do Fru kind of straight into Savage, so we'll do like reclears for the week and give people some chance to kill a little bit in between the reclears, and then we'll jump back in and do Fru to get those Fru reclears done. I don't think it'll be too bad. I've been personally jumping into Fru on my own, just to make sure that I keep everything super fresh in my head, so that we don't run into any. When we go back to do it, there won't be any trip ups on going back through it and remembering what we have to do, because I'm still seeing it. Sometimes PF is really a fucking hot mess when it comes to that fight. Like, you wouldn't think that fight would be bad for PF, but my god. The mechanic I found that seems to trip up people more than anything, which really surprises me, is the tanks and APOC. I've seen more wipes recently to the tanks and APOC and not understand the tanks and the melee not knowing how to do APOC than anything else.
Yeah, I can see that.
Well, because what ends up happening is APOC is very gaslight heavy. And so like I get to my spot and the range always get to their spots because their spot is, you know, pretty static, right? But the tanks, what ends up happening is you'll get one tank that'll go to the right spot, but then the other tank won't necessarily know where to go. So they'll get confused and then they'll start running the wrong direction, and the other tank will panic and they'll gaslight each other into going the wrong way, and then they'll get hit. I've seen that happen a lot. Like where one of them doesn't know where to go, so they try to run at the other one to figure it out, and then they end up both panicking and getting hit by the light.
I mean, I'll admit myself, I actually rely on your call for that one.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, that one is one of those where I definitely see why they struggle with it, because the melee have a much harder job than the range do. Because the range is easy, because it's literally, there's like, you know, there's basically 2 set spots, and we just kind of go to whatever is safe and we flank it. You know, the melee actually have to be able to adjust around it well enough to know where they have to go. So they definitely have a harder job, but that always tends to be an issue. And that mechanic tends to trip people up. P2, I haven't seen a ton of issues in P2 for the most part. Like, it feels like P1, P2, P3, generally speaking, APOC is kind of an issue. Most people are pretty good at the first mechanic of it. P4, they're usually pretty good at it. And at least in the parties I've been in, P5 has been pretty reasonable. Partially now that there's a little bit nicer of a DPS check in the fight, so that kind of helps. It's definitely a fight where you want to make sure you still have your BIS, though, because, like, you can get in a really good party, you can get in a really rough party. Like, I was in a party with a black mage that was just insane. Like, he was pulling like a 90, and we were just absolutely destroying the DPS check. Because we had, like, everybody had new pots and food, so we were killing it before you had to throw the LB at the end. Like, the LB bar would fill and the boss would die. So we had some of those runs. I've also had some runs that definitely did not go that well, so... And, like, the free reclears they'll take a little bit of readjusting, just because obviously Bell will have to figure out some of the tanking things, which I don't think should be too tough. And the positive is Leon shouldn't have too much to learn just because he's got Bell Spot, and Bell Spot is Bell Spot was a no adjust spot. Because Ruby did all the adjusting for him, so
Maybe it's gonna take Bell a second to learn the tank stuff, right?
yeah. It'll take him a little bit of time to learn the tank stuff. I don't think it's too bad, luckily, because at least some of the more complex things I think that are happening there aren't going to be too bad to learn. Mostly because you pull the boss and you were pulling the boss in P2. So, like, the mirror mechanic, he doesn't necessarily have a whole lot to learn, per se.
Yeah, but APOC and
So, like, yeah,
P4
APOC,
and
he'll have something. Yeah, those will be the two big things he'll have to learn, which they're not necessarily too bad. The P4 one's not too bad. Like, the P4 one's a little bit rough, but at the same time, the P4 one, if everybody does their job right, isn't too bad. Because he can just literally go to the closest wall, and provided Gaia didn't jump to the one healer on the wall, the rest of that's pretty easy. So he'll have a little bit of learning to do, but I don't think it'll be too bad. Like, there's always a little bit of relearning regardless. And then obviously he'll have to learn some of the tanking stuff in P5, but the P5 tanking stuff is pretty easy, I think, for the most part.
well, some mitigation rotations.
Well, it's mitigation and then mostly just knowing how to aim the aim the towers. Yeah.
Yeah,
as long as he knows how to aim the tower, that one should work perfectly fine. And it's really not that bad because I don't remember exactly how you guys were doing it, but if I recall correctly, because either person can invuln regardless of what's happening, I believe you were always holding the boss there, and the Marky was always doing the second one, so I don't think that should be too bad. Because he really only has to learn 2 spots at that point.
Well, we just keep it
so
static.
I don't think it'll be.
I do the first and he does the second.
Yep. So yeah, I don't think it'll be too bad to get through re-clears done.
I hear the next ultimate is gonna be pretty hard though.
Have they even said anything about the next ultimate?
No, but someone said that. I'm not sure how valid that is.
I don't even think we're getting another one this expansion.
Oh, you don't think so?
I believe we're not. And I've believed we're not since the start of the X-Pack. Just because it might have been a translation error, but when they announced Ultimates, their wording was very particular about like everything they wrote. And the comment they wrote was new Ultimate Raid, not new Ultimate Raids. And that makes me think we're actually only going to get one. Because we're getting so much other stuff. Like, we're getting, obviously, expansions full of cosmic exploration. We're getting the new Bozja stuff. It just wouldn't surprise me if the approach they went was you're getting 1 ultimate this expansion, and then next expansion you're getting 2. And if they basically went to the schedule that we had basically caused by COVID, where every other expansion you get 1 ultimate, and you basically get 1, then 2, then 1, then 2.
If they give us a Bozja 2.0 Savage.
It sounds like we're getting it.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I'm okay with that.
I would be totally fine with them doing 1 ultimate this expansion, because we have plenty of people that still need to make their way through other ultimates, and I would be perfectly fine just doing that. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
because there's other stuff it's not like there's not stuff that can't be done. Like, there's always things to work on. And I know, like, we wanted to do more top clears back in time, but we weren't able to pull it off, so I definitely know people would like to get more top clears. Partially because I think top has some of the nicest weapons.
True.
And a
Are we
lot of
doing-
those I think would actually be pretty easy.
Are we actually going to go for 17 totems for fruit?
I mean, if people really wanted to, we could, but it's really just up to whatever people want to do. If people wanted to get a whole bunch of totems, we could get a whole bunch of totems. I will say this, if we wanted 17 totems in Fru, it would not be that hard to get.
All the totems in Fru.
Like,
All
I think Fru is probably, once you're doing it, Fru is probably the most, like, friendly to farm ultimate.
You have at least 2 people in this raid group that wants every weapon in every fight.
It's her and Ruby.
God damn.
We are
But no, like, yeah, it, like I said, I don't think it would be too hard to get a handful of clears. Because I know, like, when I was doing just a couple random nights of it, there was one day I cracked out like 5 Fru clears in a day. Because I joined one group that was just really consistent. We got through it. We basically did like 3 wipes together. We got the clear, and then everyone just hung around the entire time. And we basically like rattled like 5 Fru clears back to back in super quick succession. Because once you're in the mindset of doing it, once you're used to doing it, you're comfortable doing it, and you've gotten that first clear of the day, re-clearing Fru is really simple.
I'm auto-following. My cat's throwing up, but I just don't run me into a wall.
You're fine. I mean, you're not going to heal me anyway, so. But yeah, I don't think it'll be too bad to get a handful of clears done with it. It's a pretty friendly fight, relatively speaking.
Oh, and how many weeks do we want to do reclears?
Of Savage?
Of 8, right?
Yeah, we'll do the 8, and then we'll see where people are at. I mean, we'll do 8, and then it all depends. If people really want, like, other stuff for alt classes, I'm fine doing additional there.
No, I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah.
I think it's only worth it for the last one.
Pretty much. That's kind of my take on it, is the last time it's really worth it, because that's, like, the end of X-Pack gear. But it's not so much worth it for the non-end of X-Pack stuff.
Right.
I can't stun him, so Macy's getting hit. Thank God Gunbreaker has a tiny bit of self-sustain, because this is not going well. Don't full pull without your healer.
Clearly, I was all the damage in our party.
No, we're fine. I'm surviving. We made it. We killed everything. I full pulled it and we killed it, so.
You can teleport me if you want.
I'm working on it. But yeah, we'll probably just do the 8, I think. We'll get the 8 done so that everyone gets their weapon, everyone gets their mount. And then we'll go from there. So that would be the thought. And then once we're done with the 8, like I said, we'll figure out what we're going to do. We'll get the Fru re-clears done, and then we'll move on to whatever the next thing we're going to work on is. But like I said, that's on you and Kat to figure out what thing you want to go try to murder out.
Yeah, we decided on top.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it should work for everybody.
Yep. Nope, that's, like I said, I think a lot of people will be happy to go back into top, because top is a very fun fight. I think top is probably, of all the ultimates, I think top is the most fun when you've done it. It starts off a little bit rough, just because Looper is definitely kind of old. Like, as a mechanic, Looper gets kind of old, but it's it's a fun fight. Like it's a very well done fight. So I think top will be a fun time. And the plus side is we have a lot of people who have obviously either done it or seen a lot of it. Because like obviously me, Ruby, and Macy have cleared it, and Jin's as close to have cleared it as possible without clearing it. So because Jin was just off by the only thing he hadn't seen was last phase. And maybe Dynamis Omega. I can't remember if we saw Dynamis Omega or not. But it's not much. So you guys are getting shot. What the hell is that about?
Imagine not getting in the party stack.
Gonna be honest, kind of forgot that party stack was here. I have not been in this dungeon in a long time.
Letting me die twice. So sad.
You didn't die. You died once. And you're a healer. Keep yourself alive.
I was at AFK.
Not the second time. If there was a second time.
It would help if I targeted the guy I was trying to Benny.
Plus side is I still have all my top markers as well. So I have all my top markers still, and I still have all the top channel. So all the resources are still hanging around. I also really like top because top is the one ultimate that forces everybody to LB. And does it in a unique way, which I appreciate. I don't know if you've seen how top ends, but
yeah, I watched the entire thing.
Yeah, the ending of top is fun. I like the ending of top a lot.
Oh, no, I mean, do the shitty samurai LB this time.
It's like the cool version of Uwu.
Right, like, because Uwu kind of makes you LB a little bit. The thing I like about Top's ending is I appreciate that it actually forced a comp in the sense that you have to have a fizz range. Like, you have to basically have a fizz range to be able to do it right. And I appreciate that. Like, having to actually do a full mechanic, like, where everybody is throwing LBs constantly is just kind of a neat thing. So that's always fun. I will say it's definitely one of those things where when you've never done it, it definitely can get very stressful. Not so much for the tanks, but for the healers, I know the first time you do it, it's very concerning. Because you have to basically, it's one of those things where it's like the tanks are able to get away with hitting their LB fast, but based on how fast the tanks LB, that dictates how fast the healers can LB, and you can actually LB too fast as a healer and kill the party, which is the rough part of it. So it's one of those, like, your healers basically have to sit there during that last burst window, and it's like the tanks have a huge luxury of being able to effectively throw their LB the second it recharges and get away with it. But the healers can't throw it the second it fills because there is potential. I've seen VODs of, like, if the healers are spamming the LB the second the tank throws it, if they throw it too early, there is potential the LB will fill and you will actually beat the magic number cast. And if you beat the magic number cast, you will actually throw the heal from the healer LB before the doom applies to the party. And it just kills everybody.
Nice.
The tanks also have to be very caught. I've also seen VODs where people have, like, accidentally... I've seen VODs where tanks get too jumpy and they start spamming the LB. and they spam the LB and they accidentally double tap the LB. And so they throw a second tank LB and you can't healer LB because they just burned it.
Oh shoot, that's good to know.
I mean, it would take a lot to do it. You would have to literally be spamming the LB for like 8 seconds straight to make it happen.
Never mind.
Yeah, it's not something that like you have to worry about. As a tank, that LB is very simple. It's when you see magic number casting, you hit the LB button and just you basically, as soon as you see magic number cast, you spam it until you see your character get locked in the animation.
What kind of tank?
And once
has
the
it for
LB
8
is
seconds
locked,
straight?
you just stop hitting it.
What kind of tank?
A
is
very
spamming
bad
it for
tank.
8 seconds straight?
Well, I think when they asked the guy about it later, what happened was he threw it at the start of the cast, and then he panicked and thought he hadn't thrown it, so he tried to throw it again.
Oh, he thought he canceled it.
So he thought it didn't go off, but it did go off.
Yeah, you can't
So then
cancel
he
it.
threw
It just
it.
happens.
Right, because it's instant. But he thought he didn't throw it, so he was like, I tried to throw it again, but the problem was it had already refilled. So the healer was going to spam their LB, and the fucking tank wall pops up, and they're just, what the hell just happened? The next thing you know, the paladin tank wall pops up again, and they're just like, well, shit. And the worst part was it was the second of the 2 tank LBs. So they were literally at the end of the fight. They were at the tank doesn't hit it, the healer tosses the healer LB, and you get a melee LB and it's dead. So they lost a completely good run. I think it was in PF, if I recall. There was someone complaining about how PF was real rough. That fight in PF, I can't even imagine. Like, Fru is very good in PF because everything's pretty on the nose and like you don't need AM for it. You can kind of just, everything's pretty like well defined. Top is a fight that 99% of this community could not clear without AM. Like, you have to AM to clear top with 99% of this community.
I mean, it doesn't look fun to begin with.
Well, the reason they force AM is because there's multiple points in the fight. There's one after P2, and there's one after... because there's one in between P2 and P3, and then multiple times in P5 where there's just deep, like you have a bunch of debuffs and you have to know how to read your debuffs, but conga lining is too hard for PF to handle it. And so because PF just can't handle the conga line, it becomes kind of a rough thing to do. The one nice part about this fight that doing top will be good is the sim for top is very good. Like, the sim for top is very good.
Oh, I haven't checked that out yet.
Yeah, the sim is very good in top, and we'll use that a lot when we get to that point, because we used it a lot when we progged it. Just because, like, top has a handful of mechanics, and I don't think there's like one mechanic the sim does not work for, and I don't know if he ever got it running, which is Hello World, because there's not really a way, like, there's a logic behind Hello World, but it's really hard to code the bots to do it correctly. Because it's not like, there's not like set spots to do it. So the bots can't do Hello World correctly, but like they can do monitors. You can run the bots with AM and do all of P5. And it's very good for X's. Because I think Top's X's are probably they're simultaneously probably the easiest and the hardest X's we've ever seen. Just because because of the risk the X's present. Like, in Fru, obviously, you don't want a death, but if someone dies to an Exa in Fru, you can hard myth the stack enough to live it, and depending on how, who died and when, you could still maybe out DPS it and pass the last phase with one person dying. In Top, nobody can die. That's what makes Top's last phase so difficult. Is you have to do Top's last phase perfect. Nobody can die at any point in time in that last phase. And that's what makes Top's last phase difficult, and it's what makes the X's hard. Is because the X's are very simple, but unlike what I'll say is unlike like Fru's, where you kind of just watch it go off and you react to it. Tops is very much so not a you watch and react. Tops, you have to memorize a pattern. And there's only 2 of them, but you have to have both of those patterns memorized and know when you're moving and how you're moving.
Oh, are you calling those
because
X's?
Yeah,
the
the
pattern lasers.
I'm the Exa squares or the Exa lines, where it's basically the Sagittarius arrow, where he does a bunch of lines that shoot off and then propagate out or in.
Okay.
But that's that one is, everyone calls it Exa squares because it's basically just a bunch of squares. But
you just have
that
to
one
memorize
is
the 2 patterns.
Yeah, it's memorizing the 2 patterns and then being ready to know the movements. Because, like I said, that one is tough because of the way Dynamis works. That's what makes that mechanic hard. I know when we progged it, we had a lot of issues when we did our first prog of it because Marky kept getting clipped by the X's. And the problem is, if anyone dies, it basically, the way that fight is set up is Omega never autos for the most part in the fight. Like, Omega does very little actual, attacking during the last phase. Like, she does auto, but it doesn't auto like you would think an auto would happen. It autos kind of like DSR's autos, where they're splashed autos. And the way Omega's autoing is it's autoing the closest and the furthest person to it.
Oh yeah, it's just
and it's doing it twice. So yeah, it's the same as DSR, except there's not like a debuff you're swapping. It's just hitting the closest and the furthest person are getting hit, but you're getting hit, but its autos are almost like tank busters.
Oh.
So the autos hit at a decent, they're not super heavy, but they're enough that they'll one-shot someone who's not a tank eating them for the most part.
Oh, okay. So they're getting hit after 2 stacks of DSR debuff.
Yes. Yep. So the autos are tight, and the reason we were struggling is because Marky kept getting hit during the first Exa, and the problem was the way that mechanic works in the last phase is when you bring your 3 stacks forward and you throw the first tank LB, it converts your 3 stacks into another debuff. And that debuff's the one that allows you to throw a free LB3, but it has a secondary effect to it. And its secondary effect is it acts as a permanent tank LB3 for the rest of the phase. So all the damage you see, if you were to look at a log in the last phase, all the damage you see that's flowing in as damage taken is being hard mitigated by 80% the entire phase. So if your tank dies to Exas, they will 100% get one shot by every auto attack because they are missing an 80% buff in damage or in defense. So that's what makes that fight hard, is if anyone dies at any point in time, you can prog it, but you can continue to prog, but basically every mechanic from that point on you have to basically prep. If someone dies early, you have to prep to raise them between every mechanic. Because if you don't raise them between every mechanic, most things were something where if you're missing a body, you're all dead. Because it hits hard enough to kill you. Like, when that fight first came out, tanks would die to, like, he does two stacked tank busters that are basically like the wild charge buster, where they hit the first person really hard, they hit the second person decently hard, and then it kind of tapers off. And the way the MIT plan is set up for that particular mechanic is you always have to have the tank in front invuln and the tank behind is kitchen sinking, but they have to kitchen sink and get buddy MIT from their co-tank. And at the time, they had to also get MIT from the healers, or they would just die. Because it would run them through with full, like, kitchen sink. And there was a point in time where, like, you had to actually make sure you were, like, properly ordering your MIT to make sure it didn't just nuke you. So that phase had some rough moments to it. I've heard it's not quite as rough now, but
Yeah, with the new gear.
New gear, new food. New food helps a lot. I think we haven't really gotten a stat squish, but those things all help. Let's see. Okay. We did make it to 8 of 8. And I'm guessing Jin ain't coming back. I'll DM him and see if he's gotten any kind of update.
I mean, if his Transformer's out, then he's done.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll see what he has to say. Like I said, worst case, we'll go Monday and then try to get this thing knocked out. I don't think we'll have too much issue. I think everybody is mentally where they need to be to get this thing killed in a handful of pulls. Because quite frankly, that pull we had that saw 0.7, that was a one less mistake and it's dead. Like, if we did Ultraviolent right and Ruby didn't jump to Jin's platform, so I don't have to heal her LB, it's dead. Realistically, like, it'd be dead if that happened. Couple less damage downs, it would have been dead. If we wouldn't have missed, like I said, I think half the party missed a pot. I think if we don't miss that pot, it very well might die. A lot of little things we could have done, just very marginally better to get it done.
At some point, you have to let us know if you don't want us holding the LB, because we're supposed to LB the moment we get to phase 2.
What I would say is, right now, I think it's worth holding it, just because we saw 0.7, but like I said, that was a 0.7 with, I believe it was 4 missing pots in the second phase. I believe we were missing 4 pots in the second phase, plus, if I remember right, 6 damage down. I think was the number that I saw. I think that was the number I saw. It's either 5 or 6, and then 2 deaths. Obviously, deaths mitigated by a healer LB, but still 2 deaths. And that damage down is wicked. It's a 50% damage down. And if I recall, Champion Circus is
I don't
also
think we have
right
to throw it at the right then. I'm just saying.
No, let me see here.
I think it's going to be hard to throw it on the platforms. Like,
so,
when we get to the towers, it might be difficult with the animation lock.
So you will be fine to throw it. The way you have to throw it is, you have to throw it after 2. Yeah, so we had... Okay, yeah, in the last phase, we just had Okay, it was just 4 damage downs. But it was 4 damage downs. Leon had a damage down, Cat had a damage down, Jin took a damage down, and Bell took 2 damage downs. So we had 5 people, or 5 instances of damage down. So
Didn't Cat
we
die?
don't.
Didn't he die after the Didn't Cat die after the healer LB? Is it a different pull?
I thought there was a different poll. That was the other poll.
Okay, I wasn't
That
sure.
poll.
This.
No, we did have 3 deaths there though. Was there weakness? Am I losing my damn mind here? Did phase 2 have a weakness in it? I don't think it did. No. So we had 3 deaths in the last phase.
I mean, I think we could have cleared it with 1 less DD or damage down.
That's what I mean. Like, if all the pots are correct next time, even with those damage downs and a healer LB, it dies. If we have 1 less damage down, it probably dies. Realistically, it probably dies there. Or if we just survive without the 3 deaths and can throw the melee LB, it is definitely dead. So we had a lot of win conditions that were there because Bell died to Bell got killed by Ultraviolent Ray right at the end. So we actually had 3 deaths that all just got raised up by the healer LB. So that there was a handful of little things happening there. So we're not super far off. I think the boss only had. I mean, how much HP did this fucker have? Yeah, he had 1,000,000 HP left, or actually, because he died at 0.7, he had 500k. The boss only had 500k.
Yeah,
so
that's 1 damage down. Fuck
yeah.
Potting. I mean, we should pot, but that's 1 damage down.
Right, that's what I mean. We don't even have to be perfect, which is why I would say hold the LB. Just because we're at the point in the X-Pack where we do so much damage that because we do so much damage, if 2 people are dead, a healer LB is worth more getting them up without weakness than throwing the LB for however much it does. I don't even know how much the healer LB or the tank the melee LB hits for. I don't think it's much.
No idea. Like 700k?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Off the top of my head,
right,
that's how much it hits for?
Well, because it's always boss dependent.
Yeah.
Okay, so an LB3 in this party, and they killed fast, and they actually got 2 LBs because they LB like right away, like they're supposed to, and then they also get a blade dance at the end. In LB, because blade dance is LB1 or LB2. Braver is LB1. So blade dance is LB2. So an LB3 hits for 1.3 million, and an LB2 hits for 800k.
Oh, that long.
Gosh, that's a lot.
Yeah, because it's always dependent. The LB hits differently. Its potency changes obviously based on your weapon level, but also boss to boss, how hard it hits. So yeah, we really don't even need it. There were a lot of different ways we could have pulled off a kill there. So we don't even need to be perfect. We just need to be
alive.
We just need one less mistake. It's literally all it comes down to.
Not perfect, just alive.
Like
pretty much.
Heroes or whatever that stupid rotation thing is. If people survive that, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, and Hero's Blow, I think I'm hoping the little explanation before Raid helped people understand kind of fundamentally how you have to dodge it. Because that really is the last big thing. Because like the tether mechanic is
in front or behind the arrow, side arrow.
Yeah. What I found worked best for me was exactly what I said, which was I don't even worry about if I'm on the side. I literally just look at him, and like when I'm in position at my tower, I find the closest side arrow and I look at that while the towers are going off, and then I watch it and see if it rotates towards me or away from me. Because if it rotates towards me, then I know that whichever way it rotates. Basically, if you watch the way it rotates, you know which way is his front or back based on it. Because if its side arrow is near you and it rotates away from you, then you know you're closer to his back. So if you rotate the other direction from it, that would probably put you on his back if his back doesn't face you. Or if you watch it and you see it comes at you, then you would know where his front is. If you can't see his front.
I have it easy because I'm tanking there, so he'll be right there.
Yeah, for the people that are... For all the people up north, it's really easy. For the south people, we have to kind of watch his arrow because you can't necessarily see his front and you're behind him. So I watch his flank arrow because his flank arrow is a very easy thing to see. And I can see which way it goes away. So then for me, I literally just look at it. I see it go away. I double check, am I behind him? If I'm not, I know the rotate. I know I need to go away from or towards wherever that arrow went. And I always just go straight to his front or back and then dodge the next thing. I found making sure you're always in the front or the back so you have both sides to work with makes that mechanic a little bit easier. Versus just trying to identify if you're on the correct side to start. But I think it'll be something we'll be able to knock out decently quick. So we'll get that one done, and then, like I said, I flipped my BIS today too, so that hopefully helped. Because the spell speed BIS was nice, but it was not working the way I was hoping. Is there something really depressing about looking at your logs and seeing a 0% direct hit rate that just does not feel good? Because the spell speed Scholar BIS, that's theoretically the best BIS, has 0 direct hit. So you literally you can't direct hit with it. Which isn't a lot, but... So it works really well. It has less crit and less direct hit than the slower one. But the trade-off is it theoretically is the best damage if you were able to only broil the entire fight.
Yeah.
Because if you were able to keep a perfectly consistent, like you're always hitting, it does a lot more damage because you're getting so many more broils over the course of the fight. That it basically, theoretically, as long as your crit rate falls in the right line, you'll end up doing more damage because you've done so many more hits. The problem is that's just not a realistic thing. So I just ended up taking, because I'm still using the accessory I had, but I basically went and cracked all my melds and reflipped them and took my current gear, messed with melds, and calculated the best theoretical damage I could get with the gear I have out of Ffxiv gear. Calced a new BIS, did that, and then was like, cool. Next week I'll have the tomes to buy the accessory, and I still haven't taken an accessory upgrade, so I'll take it, grab that one, and then I'll be able to flip to the actual correct BIS. So it was a bit of a placeholder, but it worked out. But yeah, I think we'll call that there because Jin is DOA, so I'm gonna guess.